Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at Catra, or Catra, from the Masters of the Universe Classics line. Not sure how her name is pronounced because I don't think I ever followed She-Ra at all, but she's a member of the Evil Horde, meaning that she's in fact evil. The whole Evil Horde is kind of a giveaway there. And they're in a She-Ra villain. Apparently she also has the ability to turn into a panther, so that's cool, right? Right? I don't know. It's kind of weird too, because Skeletor rides a panther, but I somehow don't think these two facts are connected. But yeah, the original figure, I believe, probably had like felt hair or whatever, but all these have plastic. I do prefer having plastic hair on the figures, but your mileage may vary. Hold on a second and I'll get her out pack. Alright, so I believe her name's actually pronounced Catra, kind of like She-Ra, so I'll just be pronouncing it that way for the rest of the review, whether or not it's actually correct. Yeah, not feeling fact-checking today. Now, Catra comes with a whip that doubles as a comb. Not even sure what to think about that. It's kind of amusing. This really neat cat shield. I love the face there. Big little fake gem and everything. A cat-themed sword with a pink hilt. And then a choice of two masks, although I can't seem to get either one to really fit properly. And the paint kind of scraped off on this one when it was put on. I guess it's supposed to sort of latch into the hair. And then there's some amount of space. I don't know, it just doesn't look like a good fit for the character. Also, mine had a little paint splotch in the shoe here that wasn't residue from the mask, I believe. It's just some sort of a random defect because, well, Mattel doesn't really put much effort into their quality control. And here's her with the other mask, which I can never get to even stay on. Just sort of pops off. I don't know, there it goes. We're close enough. Unless, of course, it's upside down, but nah. No, that's definitely got to be right side up. Design-wise, the figure greatly resembles She-Ra in terms of just the general outfit. She does have much cooler hair, sort of like this ponytail, so it doesn't really impede against the back of the cloak here, which is possibly detachable if you popped off her head, or would be detachable if you popped off her head. Which is cool. Let's bring in She-Ra for a quick comparison. And here we have She-Ra. As you can see, it looks like that the legs, including the boots, are recycled. The arms also appear to be recycled. I believe it's probably the same torso piece underneath the dress, meaning they have identical bust sizes, but that's a little bit hard to tell just because the, I guess, battle armor, dress thingy, blouse, whatever, seems to have a different design slash thickness to it, especially because it covers up more of the side boob on She-Ra. So I guess heroines aren't allowed to have side boob. Otherwise, very similar looking figures. And as they probably kind of should be, because I'm assuming Catra is probably just a sort of mirror antithesis or whatever to She-Ra. Now, she does have the same sort of really soft hands that you've seen on some of the, shoot, I'm totally blanking on this, DC Universe classics like Cheetah. Why do I go see Cheetara? They have really close names. Which, I don't know what to think about that, or how I feel about it necessarily. I mean, it's not a huge distraction or anything, but at the same time. Otherwise, the left hand is identical to that left hand. Same pose, same thickness slash type of plastic being used. And I kind of picked her up on an impulse. Not a very bad figure. Wouldn't call it exceptional or anything, but, you know, it's pretty cool. In terms of articulation, she's identical to She-Ra, again, because most of the same parts are being used. You have rotation at the wrist, single pin at the elbow, rotation at the bicep. By the way, I like how they handle the biceps and arms a bit more on these than the DC Universe Classics, because there's less of a gradient between the bicep muscle and the actual arm here. I mean, it looks kind of funky when you have like this huge ball on the female shoulders, especially when they have an uncovered shoulder. Just might be a personal preference though. Head rotates very minor up and down. She gets more articulation there just because the hair is sort of set back as opposed to She-Ra, which is kind of closer to the body. No, actually it does look like you can kind of get the same range in both. Now she should have rotation at the waist if she does, even though you can't see it. Now she has a sort of ball joint underneath the dress here. So again, because it's concealed, they didn't bother doing that sort of T-looking joint or whatever you call it. Then she also has rotation at the upper thigh. Again, it's cool because it's covered, even though you have a seam along the front leg, which kind of wrecks the presentation. Single pin at the knee, rotation at the calf/boot, then ankle pin and ankle pivot. So, you know, usual decent range of articulation. Paint-wise, fairly basic colors. You'll notice that they have little shades of black for shadowing. Nothing like that in the gauntlets. Boots do seem to have a bit more color variation. It has some shadowing right around here than on the fronts of the boots. And then, of course, there's pinkening in certain areas, like here around the knee and on the hands. All in all, a decent enough looking figure. Again, probably not a must-own. I mean, if you're a fan of the character and the continuity, you'll probably pick it up. Otherwise, I don't know, it might be worth passing on. Not sure yet if I'm happy or not that I picked this one up, although it will sort of bulk out my female masters. I don't really have a lot of them. Until next time, folks. You know, I didn't really comment on the face, but it does sort of deserve mention, given that it's really narrow and has a lot of sharp angles and stuff, which you don't so much see with a lot of Mattel's figures. I mean, look at those cheekbones there. Those are pretty sharp. So, I mean, that's kind of neat and a novelty in itself.